What are we saying? Another bike? We've got JDM by Ugly & Co. Supersport 600. It's a brand spanking new engine, and we've now got to basically just run it in. So we've got to do a full break-in of the engine, which what we're basically trying to do is get load on the piston rings to really force them into the bore to make their own groove. That means they seal better. So we'll do that in incremental pressure build up. So basically we'll start and we'll only go to say like 5,000-6,000 revs, do a cycle of that, and then we'll build the pressure and build the revs. So that's both more throttle, more revs. And we'll just do that incrementally over a couple of runs, and that'll basically bed that in. We double check everything while we're going. We're also doing separate cylinder mapping on every single cylinder, hence why they are wires everywhere and they're all lambda sensors. So we'll build all that with the Metronic ECU as well. And then once that's all dialed in, we'll finish with full mapping at full throttle, and hopefully make some good power, but we won't tell you that. No, we won't tell you that. All right, let's go. Prep's all done, all full with fuel, notes are all done. We're gonna just start doing some runs now. First set of runs done, so we're basically just really gingerly bending it in, and we bed it in across, obviously we slowly go through the gears, get it into sixth, no resistance on the actual dyno, so we're not using the eddy current brake to put any resistance on it. We're just slowly adding that resistance with the throttle, not really going any past like 20% throttle, and not going anywhere past 6,000 revs on the first cycle. That's about a 15-minute run cycle, and it's literally just bit of power, release, bit of power, release, bit of power, release, and then we're just maintaining temperatures and keeping an eye on everything. Again, looking at the fueling and make sure everything else in the background is doing what it's supposed to be doing, while we can just concentrate on bedding the motor in. If we've got issues with fueling and stuff, we need to address them and correct them straight away, so we don't do any damage while we're trying to bed an engine in, because that sucks. So this is actually the full recorded time. This is over time, so it looks exciting. It's like my heart rate when someone comes at me for a bill. But now that's just to give me an indication of how everything is, and just have a quick look through to see what the fueling's doing. Now I've been watching it as we're going, and we're good. So we'll just health check everything, double check everything, and then we do round two. We are doing some things. Ooh. Right. What we were trying to do is basically, we've got to use the Lambda target trim to apply that trim to the table, and what we're doing is we're doing it right now to each individual cylinder. So by doing that, we'll build up a specific fueling table for each cylinder. Then we can then have a one sensor that will read all and then trim them all together after individual cylinders, so it will maintain the offset. That's what we're trying to do right now. We're trying to do that quickly, which basically means we use an auto Lambda target table that will automatically do the trims and then apply the trim, so I don't physically have to go in and change all the values. That didn't work. So instead, we're going to have to go and manually do it, which basically means that every table I just go through and apply whatever adjustments I need to apply, and then we'll send it and then do it that way. Fun times on a Friday.
What time is it?
Late. But I know what you mean. You're going to get to a point where on track you're not going to be able to see any trim.
Just want to see if I can figure out why it's not doing it and then go from there.
We did a brain fart thing. So we've just done the runs, and then I was going to old school it and map it off the cylinders. The only problem is we were logging off the Mechatronic ECU, and then the intention was to use that to then apply the trims. That's not how I'm logging the fueling now. So on the dyno software, I'm logging through the sniffer probe, which is basically 2 lambda sensors in the exhaust, which is a combined fueling trim. That's the fueling of all 4 cylinders together. So it basically means that way I can't do separate cylinder mapping. I have to then have a specific lambda sensor for that individual cylinder. And right now so we had a bit of a brain fart because I've mapped it off all 4 cylinders together rather than doing the single cylinder one, because of the fact that the auto trim that we were going to use, that the ECU's running, didn't accept the trim. So I tried to do it the normal way, but obviously I'm doing all 4, so whatever. Anyway, it's not much of a problem. It's just that run then was a bit of a waste of time. But the problem I do still have is, rather than running a sensor or the Dynojet sensors in each one of the cylinders, we're going to run their sensors, and then the data that we're getting, I'm going to use the data from the bike to then build the map. So I'm going to look at that data stream. Then the adjustments that I want to make, rather than using the dyno software, I'm going to use the log software. If you understood any of that, hit thumbs up. Anyway, that was a fucking waste of time. At least we got KFC. Thanks, cameraman. All right. So whatever this value is, that's a percentage of what the actual thing is in the background. So yeah, just go through and just add them on. Which one? The top one that's all liveried up? Yeah, never. I got to a point where I was like, I don't want to wreck it. So I got it all done, and then a little shout out to Dale from Sublime Designs. Did a sick job. No, I've never worn it. Because I just put it on and go, I don't know, I like my old one. Sad, isn't it? We are still here. It's getting dark. We are having... It's just slow to build this map, because it's like basically doing four maps. So we're going to be going into the night, unfortunately. But we're getting there. Yeah, buying a Ferrari with my 15 quid that I've got.
That YouTube money.
That YouTube money. Like and subscribe. I need a car. Right, let's go see how Joe's getting out. How's it looking?
Not too bad. There's a couple more driven on it, but tiny bits. I'm happy to go and roll.
Like a delay, because the downstream. So, and especially with this, it's going to be super accurate with the exact timing. So the exact timing of one to the other is not necessarily the exact time from one to the other, because there's I mean, it is tiny. Yeah, but I'm 500 revs behind, so whenever I'm doing mapping on here, I'll look at like 3.5 is actually my 4 column.
Right, that's ready to go.
Techie.
Pretty close.
What are we saying? 30, 50, 60, 80?
30, 50, 80, 100.
30, okay.